You are now tuned in to The Gifted Gab.
You feel me? We're back. Another episode of The Gifted Gab. I got two very special guests here. This is actually round 2 of this, but I'm with the boys from Oxymoron podcast. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Fahad, Leroy.
What's
We're
good?
here, and we're ready to go. And this time it'll be, they didn't see the first one, so they didn't see the first one, so it's okay. That might never see the light of day. It's okay though.
It's all good.
It's okay. Sometimes you got to do things a couple times over before you get it.
It's part of this. It's part of the game.
That's part of podcasting.
Yeah, it's part of
We have a
podcasting.
couple like that. You never see the.
Is there some throwaways? You guys have some throwaways?
Oh.
Yeah, there's some like throwaways where we went. It
Too
was good.
far.
Yeah, it was good. Then we just went too far. We
What's
went
too far? What's too far for you
Bro,
guys?
we went
If we ever have Mubarak
This
on,
guy-
it's
yeah.
too far.
It's a
Anytime
problem.
he's on, it's too far. We can't do it. I gotta edit it. I gotta cut some parts out.
Yeah.
But it's too
Always.
far.
That's why we got to keep you off camera, man. You get a little carried away up when you get
Oh, but when he starts making the jokes, it's too
It's
far.
over.
Yeah, it's too far.
over.
Inappropriate.
Oh yeah, because we had the last one we did. We talked about dictators.
And yeah,
I saw that one.
we had to
He
chop
took it.
up a
He
bit.
had to chop it up. He took it where it shouldn't have gone, man. Like,
Dictators. It's a heavy topic.
it's a heavy topic. But the thing is, like, we're kind of interested in how you become a dictator, because it's like people start off. Because if you look at their lives at the beginning, they start off really normal. Like, if you look at even Gaddafi too as well, Gaddafi is who we've been looking into. Like, he started off really normal as a normal kid. Like,
And it's to
and then
help
what
everyone.
happens down the line that makes them into such horrible human beings? Or like, and some of them are like, you can't even tell whether they're bad or good, because because they live so long and they do so many things. They sometimes do some good stuff. And
Depending
then
who you
sometimes-
ask,
depending
right?
on who you ask, so depending on what part you are, and you'd be like, okay, all right, he was really helpful in our cause and freeing our people, because he did sponsor Gaddafi, did sponsor a lot of people, like in terms of when helped with South Africa too as well, with Mandela and stuff like that. There's so many things he's done, and there's as well other side where he's really done some heinous acts. And if you look at Libya when it was under him versus now, it's very different.
It's very different. Yeah.
So now, like you kind of like you're kind of questioning, like, okay, how bad was?
Shout out Hillary Clinton. She knows what she did.
Yo, we know the emails is out there. The emails is out there. But it's interesting depending on who you ask, and that's why it's so important to document everything.
Yeah.
Right? Documenting everything's important, because when you document everything, then you can leave it up to people and say, okay, well, this is what went down.
Yeah,
Here's a record of it.
yeah.
You guys decide.
You decide. Yeah,
It's up to you.
yeah.
It's out
And
there.
We'll take it from there. So let's talk about your documentary. Speaking of documenting things.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
Media 21 in the cut.
Yo.
Oh yeah. That's a big one. That's a big one.
Talk to us about that. What's that project like? It's a bigger project for you guys, right?
Yeah. So the idea came from Ivan. He came to us. We approached us because we run a media production company, and then he approached us and said he wanted to do a documentary about Afrobeats, because he has such he's one of the
He's a guy, man.
yeah he's the guy.
Ivan is like the
Ivan
most
is incredible.
From La Connection now.
From La
if
Connection
anybody
now.
Yeah,
doesn't
his
know, yeah.
energy, his aura, and his positivity is contagious.
It's
We've had
contagious,
him on
very.
here. He's different.
Yeah, and then he's curated a space for a lot of Africans that come here, because like I know one of the things that I would complimented him was like when I first came here, I felt very, very I couldn't really integrate properly. Like, to me, I think I kind of like suffered with that, so I never really knew how to mix and mingle with everybody else that was already here in Canada. But I was kind of like craving to hang around my people a lot, because I started feeling more homesick, But every single time that he created an event, and I always went there, I just felt, I'm at home. So like that was what I told him. That was what he offered to the crowd. It's not just about a party. It was the fact that I can just come in and feel just at home and just take a break. I don't have to change myself to actually know how to talk better, or learn your own stuff to be able to communicate or like bond with you. I found it a little bit difficult for me. But then when he ever went to his spaces, I just felt
At home.
calm at home. And that was good. I told him that's what he was selling. So that's why he kind of like, when it comes to Afrobeats, he's been one of the curators and like the pioneers in terms of like creating spaces for African people as well, even Latin and African people too as well in this place. So there was no other better person to come up with the idea of creating a documentary about the rise of Afrobeats in the prairies.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love the vision of it. Me and Ivan, I seen when we were doing our meetings and the things. He was in the cohort. I'm like, okay, cool. And then we talked about the project a bit. I'm like, this is dope because nobody ever thinks it's kind of like a juxtaposition, like such a contrast. It's like Afro beats in the prairies.
Yeah.
It's like
It's very different.
prairies.
Yeah.
They got black people out there.
True, yeah, that's the thing, yeah. And also, like, even like in terms of whatever they look at it, they never look at it to like the Canadian. Like, for example, every time we talk about the African diaspora community, they always look at it from the American view.
Yeah.
Like, they don't look at it from like, okay, there's a whole new side. The whole of Canada that is a bit different. The experiences are different. Like, their ways of doing things are completely different from the Americans, and the way they
blacks
they
are
interact.
different.
Yeah, the blacks are different. It's different.
So what have you guys learned, while taking on this project?
I think we've learned a lot about Afrobeats, like in of itself. Like, we had to go and research and like actually understand like Afrobeats and like what
Just
it
the
actually
lineage.
means.
Yeah.
Like, and then also seeing the journey as well. And then also like the people who grew up here. Like, for example, we interviewed Jade. Jade is a DJ from in Calgary.
Yeah.
And then she grew up here. She saw it when it was non-existent, like when there was literally like she said she could probably know how like people were in Calgary because they were all her family members and stuff. Like, it was that she grew up here, and then how the point at which it started coming in, and the point where she was actually ashamed of it ish. In a way, because it was not like quality stuff that was coming over here. It was just like, it was looked down upon because it's like you couldn't show your friends this music because you just laughed at the low quality and the low budget and everything was just mediocre. And then now where it's like, it's big, where now like even just the look of it, you're so proud to show people like, hey, listen, this is what's coming from my country. Like, this is what's coming from my people. This is what my people are doing. I'm proud of it because it looks good, feels good, and then now it's cool. And then so it's that, just seeing that whole journey was very, very intriguing, and I think it's something that we've learned from it.
Yeah.
I don't know if
It was from my perspective. I'm not West African, so I knew about Afrobeat, but
Where are you from?
From Botswana, it's in Southern Africa. Yeah. So my perspective is, I know about it, but there was no history behind it. So I'm also learning, like, as we go. There's these Afrobeat and these Afro beats, so there's just different origins and where it comes from, right? And now how sonically it's just different from everything else, right? Like, it's very up tempo. It's very hard to be like sad when you listen to Afro beats. Like, it makes you want to do something. You feel something. You feel some type of way. It's one of those genres where when you listen to it, you can tell there's some type of emotion when it comes to it, right? The right type of emotion. It's different from what I've grown up listening to, right? So that also just showed me a different lens on how music is taken and received, and more especially when you come from like another country and then you're in a whole different country, how people take it in. And it's just a whole journey where it's interesting. It's music. It's interesting. It's something that you're always happy when you listen to Afrobeat.
Yeah.
You're never sad, and just the growth of it. It just shows. It shows a lot from when I started listening to it, or you'd hear a couple tracks here and there back home to like what it is right now. Like, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Yeah,
That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are working on it, man. I think it's this whole Story Hive Black Creators thing is propelling.
Yeah.
Black communities to go out there and capture these stories and tell, stories that have never before been heard. Who would have thought to, like, shout out to Ivan for coming up with the idea of like Afro beats in the prairies, like, just to even document everything that's going on in the community and stuff. Like, it's like, kudos to him. I think it's really big, and I'm glad that you guys are working on it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys come out with the ones and twos.
How about you? What about your project? How's that going? Because you got the grant too, right?
Yeah, I got it too. I've learned a lot about myself as a creator.
Yeah.
On this project. I don't know how Ivan started off, but I started work on it 2 years ago. So I've been kind of sitting on it. How I found out about the Black Creators Grant is I actually pitched the project to TELUS directly.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, this is your first time working on a film, so we're not going to give you $100,000 to do it.
Okay.
There's a Black Creators Edition coming out. See what we can do with that, and we'll talk about a working relationship from there. So I had the materials and everything ready, like maybe 6 or 7 months ahead of the opening of the grant. So, and I had already some other funding, and I'm like, okay, we'll just apply for this funding too, and then
let's see what happens. Yeah.
yeah, see what happens. And then TELUS, what's interesting about TELUS, the Story Hive program, is that they let you keep your IP, right? Whereas if you partner with a lot of other broadcasters that have similar programs, they don't let you keep your IP, right? So then you could take your finished product and do whatever you want with it. You want to make an extended version.
Yeah.
You want to send it to festivals. You want to sell it to some. You can do whatever you want, right?
That's good. Yeah.
And that's kind of what the creative freedom I really wanted, because I didn't know what is going to come from this project. I didn't know anything. I didn't know. I did my research. I said, this is a cool story.
Yeah.
And I want to shoot it. I didn't know how to shoot it. I didn't know who to turn to. I didn't know, like, I've watched movies my whole life, but I didn't know.
Where'd you start?
You know, like,
You would do a
where do you
script.
start? Yeah, you know. So I just started kind of just going on the internet and Googling, okay, what do you need for a documentary? What do you need for a treatment? What do you need? And I just started slowly coming up with the materials and then applying for different funds and just articulating my vision. Like, this is what I see for the project. I don't know how I'm going to exactly get it done, but here's a plan I have in place for now, and it might change as we go.
Yeah.
So now, fast forward like 2 years later, like probably about 80% shot the project.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking about where it might land after
Yeah.
Story Hive. I'm trying to think about how many other voices we can get involved, how many other stories we can tell, because, you know, the subject, Don, is one story. It's called Coaching While Black. It's one coach, right? But there's hundreds of coaches that go through the same thing. So now my thing is like, okay, I tell this one story, but what about all these other stories?
Yeah. There's more to it. There's more to it.
Yeah, you know, there's more to it. So I'm just kind of happy of where it's at right now. Obviously, you guys know we got to deliver the rough cut very soon.
It's true.
You know?
Yeah. Well, that's great, man. Congrats on that. This is big, because you've been working for 2 years, and then now you can do it. Now this is great. That's great. It
takes time, right? Good things take time, right? And it's just kind of, it's interesting to see, you know, other creators like you guys and where you're at in the journey. And that was going to lead me to my next question. Have you found this process stressful?
Oh yeah, it's been stressful.
Scheduling, yes.
Yeah, scheduling is
Yeah, because it's not easy when you're trying to find locations, find certain things. We may have like certain dates that we want, but then locations might have a totally different schedule. So it's always a thing of like playing a balancing act to figure out how to get those locations, but then get them at the most reasonable time for either the business or the site that we're looking for. Because as creators, we can always forget that other establishments also have their times of like operations and stuff like that. So you can't just come in and be like, yeah, I want to be here at 5. I want to be here at 4. Can't be here at 3, because they also have stuff to do, right? So it's always being flexible one way or another and figuring out like what works best. Because that's the thing. Sometimes it's not always about perfection. It's about what works best and what you can use out of that situation at times, yeah.
It's the project management that really is something to it. Like, because you have to manage people, locations, like the people is pretty big. Like, all right, where can I get this guy to come here and do this? The like guy, okay, we don't have enough manpower. We need to bring somebody to come do this. And those things takes a lot. Yeah.
What have you guys learned about yourselves as filmmakers throughout this process?
You know what? It's something very different. It might be still slightly off topic, but is in of itself kind of related. What makes an expert an expert?
Experience.
So if for example you are a take for example a professor who teaches business. If a professor teaches business, right? What makes him an expert at teaching business? Is it because he has a certificate, or is it because he has the experience in doing business?
Well, in this society, professors is because of the certificate. But it should be, I think it's broken. I think it should be an actual experienced business person teaching business. But that's not the system we grew up in.
It's not the system we grew up in. So then I was wondering, like, could there be a lack of confidence because we operate on this system? Take, for example, you're a producer And then now, would you consider yourself as an expert at producing?
Oh no,
No?
No,
Well,
not
why not?
it's touche. Yeah, because we're doing it, right?
Because you're doing it.
Yeah.
And you have more information, have more knowledge than the average person because you're doing it. And then maybe you've done it for maybe an extended period of time. Maybe this is not your first time you've done it. Maybe you've done this a couple of times. But are you waiting for a certificate to tell you that you're an expert at it?
No, you shouldn't. You should have just a body of work to tell you that you're an expert at it, I think.
You think the body of work would justify that, okay, all right, now I'm an expert at this.
Absolutely.
What I feel is I've been observing us, because in terms of like you say, what have we learned from this? For me, I've been seeing a lack of confidence is what I've been seeing from us. This is I'm just saying how I feel right now. Because I feel like we should have more confidence and be more boisterous about how good we are at this. Like, and then I've been thinking, it's like, why aren't we that way? But because we've been inducted into a system of school where we always wait to get a certificate to give us, because that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting to get a certificate to be like, you know what? Mubarak gets a certificate that he is great at cameras. Then therefore, we will now have the confidence to be like, you know what? I'm an expert at operating cameras, kind of thing. So what I've seen is a lack of confidence. And it's a thing of like, we've done this so many times that we should be experts at this. Like, we should move in like, listen, I'm an expert at this. Because whatever problems that comes up, we know how to solve it.
You have the answer for it.
We've seen the patterns because we've done it so many times. We can now recognize the patterns in this particular field that we're in. We can see patterns. So now it's like, hey, I'm a pro at this. Like, you know, but I just don't know why we can't say that, or kind of like is what I've been observing.
Why we don't lean into it.
Why we don't lean into it. You know, this is why actually you're an expert. It's more, I'm not sure. But why not? Like,
I agree. No, I actually agree with that. I think for me personally, I can speak personally, you know, I see kind of the long game with this, with the filmmaking stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking, okay, how I be looking at it is like, okay, this is my first documentary. It's not my first piece of content. Yeah. Right. So if it's about making content, I'm an expert in that.
Okay.
But when it comes to making films, you know, I'm still in the early stages. So I was actually talking to Andre about this the other day. He said, you know, where we're at right now in this journey of filmmaking, content creation, these steps are very necessary. You can't skip these steps, right? Because down the line, you want to be producing bigger scale, bigger money, right? Bigger stakes, right? Yeah. And in order to get to that point, you got to have these smaller projects in the beginning, right? Yes. What you're saying about how you're an expert is because you've done so many, right? And you want to accumulate so that when it comes to, like, you know, inshallah, one time I see you guys, it's a $50 million production where, you know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, we know what to do with this $50 million because we knew what to do with $20,000.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? And then you work your way up to those kind of budgets. And so maybe looking at it with those figures and the dollar amounts is shortchanging ourselves, and maybe we shouldn't look at it like that. But I see it as like, okay, this is one small step to the bigger scheme of things. Right? So for me, I'm like, you know, working on this programming and this film, I know it's going to contribute to that down the line. Yeah. What we're trying to, the stories we're trying to tell later, right? Yeah. That's why you guys did Media 21, right? That's why we did the Gifted Gab and Gam Black Filmworks, just because we know we want to do this long term. Right? And this is our school. This is our certificate.
But the only thing is, the only problem with our school is we don't know how many, take for example, shoemaker. How many shoes do you got to make to become an expert shoemaker?
You don't know that.
You don't know that. So then, at what point do you be like, okay, I have made enough shoes? So like for us too as well, like we've been so used to school, how do we know that? How many movies do we got to make to realize that, okay, all right, maybe I'm an expert. Maybe I think now I'm the guy kind of thing.
You can't really quantify it. I think,
true.
I think how you know you're an expert at it is when it becomes effortless, right? How do you know you're a good basketball player is when, okay, you don't have to think about shooting a jump shot. You just shoot it, right? You don't think about, oh, okay, my form's got to be right. My back straight. You're not thinking about that anymore. It's just, you're just doing it, right? It's when you get into that flow state. It's like, okay, we have a project we got to do, right? Yeah. There is not as much like there's still the preparation, the planning,
Yeah.
but there's not as much as those first couple of projects. It's just like, okay, yo, Barrick, let's go this way. Okay, boom, set up the cameras. Boom, we're good. Okay, we got the script. Script is good. Boom, budget's ready. We got like everything just clicks, right? I think that at that point, that's when you know
It's an internal thing.
it's an internal thing. I think
Okay.
the confidence comes from being able to breeze through it
Okay.
with effortlessness.
Okay.
And people can see that. Like people will be able to know, like if this guy knows what he's doing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's why I always say like people don't ask you questions even if you pretend to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
They don't ask you questions.
They don't ask questions. Yeah.
They don't ask. They're like, if one day, right?
Yeah.
If walk through an office carrying a ladder.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Nobody asks you questions
Yeah, no.
because oh yeah, he's supposed to be here. He's got a ladder.
He's supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah, they just assume because you
assume.
look like you know what you're doing. Nobody's gonna stop you and be like, "Hey, where are you going with that ladder?" You know what I mean?
True,
Yeah.
true.
So it's like
Facts.
when you have that confidence,
Yes.
in what you're doing, that's when you know like you're an expert.
You're
in
an
it,
expert at it.
You know,
No, that makes a lot of sense.
I think that's how I look at it. Fahad tells me you attended a wedding recently.
Yeah. Literally with it.
The
Yeah.
beautiful
I
thing.
haven't been to a wedding.
You haven't?
Ever.
Beautiful. I was
Listen,
wondering.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I haven't actually.
You haven't?
I don't know what I would do at my wedding. I don't know what the process is, what the
Oh,
procedure
it's
is.
a long.
I've never
It's
seen
a,
no
it's a
invitation.
process. It
No
depends.
clue.
Depends what culture, and obviously there's a white wedding.
Yeah.
So it was a 3-day thing. So the Habesha, shout out to my guy. He was really happy, but it was long. It was a long. One day, the first day we spent taking photos. So family photos, all that traditional stuff. We did that. Second day, more traditional stuff. Woke up 4 a.m. for church. 3 a.m. actually. 3 a.m. Yeah. There's a funny point where he woke up in the morning and just we all stayed in this one house. I think it was one of our friends' house. He woke up. He's like, "Yeah, I've been up for 20 minutes." I looked at him. I was like, "But it's your wedding. You have to be up for 20 minutes before I'm going back to sleep. I don't need this." But it was a beautiful thing because I got to see a different culture, how they do things, right? And how, you know, when they say the whole thing about religion and like how Christianity was definitely like Jesus was a black man, I 100% believe it now because these guys are Orthodox. And like you could tell like the things that they were doing, like this hasn't changed. Like it's the same. The traditions are the same. Like they were burning frankincense, incense. I don't know if you guys know. Yeah, incense and everything. I was like, this is proper. Nothing's changed. Everything's the same. The Bible hasn't changed. They're reading it in like the format, like proper format that it was back then. But the interesting thing was how it was always a thing of respect from both ways. Like they went to the family, giving off our daughter. Now we have a son. We're not losing anybody. We're gaining 2 people into our family, which was a beautiful thing. I was like, you know what? Yeah, this marriage thing might not be a problem. But me being me I was like,
What's the finances like? What did it cost?
It was mad.
What did it
was
cost?
mad.
It's expensive. I saw some of the pics. I saw you.
So yeah, it was, brother, it was mad.
Could you break it down for me, please? If I want to get married now, how much are you looking at?
So okay, fine. Like first of all, venues in Edmonton. Nothing's minimum. You're spending minimum 10K just on the venue.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Just on a venue, depending on how many people you have.
All right. Okay.
And then you have to think of food. How many people are you bringing in? There's catering for that.
Yeah,
right?
we know a lot of people. My family know a lot of people. Yeah, we got
catering. Now you're saying your family, right?
Yeah.
So now it depends who are you marrying. Is she from your tribe? Is she from your country? Or is she from a whole different culture? Because now you're adding more days.
Okay, so if it's 2 different cultures, now we got to do my own culture. We got to do her own culture.
Because for them it was same culture.
Okay.
So everything was traditional and white wedding. Everything was mixed all together, but they did it more focused on traditional side. And then there were different ceremonies in between. So now you have to think of, now there's different ceremonies, there's different locations. Now you have to think different venues. Now you have different venues.
More than one now.
More than one. And now you have to take care of the bridesmaid and the groomsmen. Now you have to rent cars for those people.
Why?
Right? Because they all have to, you have to go in unison. Because now imagine we're going in 3 different cars. yeah, late because you stopped at McDonald's. He's stopped because he's at his girl's place. It's a mess because everything has to be coordinated.
Yeah, okay.
Everything has to be coordinated.
Okay.
Even the Saturday, we all had to meet up at one place, the JW Marriott. So some people slept over. I was doing my own thing, but I came that day, and literally we were supposed to get into the limo at like 10:30. We ended up getting there at like 12, just to get in the limo. The limo was there waiting. So now he's waiting by the hour. So it went from half day to full day service with that. Now on top of that, now rings.
How many rings would I need?
Of course, you're gonna have to engage, and then you're gonna have to.
So it's not
the
just
wedding
one?
ring. No, she's gonna want the engagement ring, and she's gonna want the wedding ring. Now you can't fumble the bag and make sure you can't have the engagement ring. Can't have it at 5K. If you have it at 5K, now your wedding ring needs to be more than the engagement, because that needs to.
Is this
No. It's not. I'm helping you, brother. I'm helping you, because if she sees the engagement ring is not as good as the wedding ring, you have a problem, buddy. So now you have to set the bar wherever you want it to be.
That's crazy.
Right? So if you say it's 5K, now she's expecting, wow, my wedding ring is going to be mad.
I actually saw a very, very interesting article today.
Yeah.
It said the more that's spent on the engagement ring,
Doesn't mean
the
anything.
higher the chance of divorce.
I love whoever wrote that. Whoever wrote that was a smart guy. That was a smart guy. I see what he did there. I see what he did there.
So now you have to think of
Wait, hold on. 5K for engagement ring.
probably.
Then probably
that's up to you.
You want to spend probably like 10K for the ring. I'm gonna assume for the ring.
Yeah,
You're gonna
it's
spend
not
5 for
cheap.
the engagement. That's 15 already. 10 for venue.
Venue. Oh yeah, don't forget venue. They charge you just for the venue, and then they charge you for additional things like tables, chairs.
God
They
damn.
charge you by the chairs, workers, spoons, even spoons. It goes all the way. It's meticulous all the way to forks and cutlery, plates.
So where are we at budget wise now? Like everything you've mentioned now, where would you put it? Like estimate
I'd estimate like 35
35,000.
already. Yeah, I think it's 35 already.
That's more than how much you spend in school.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet. So now they got a photographer. They got these two guys from Toronto. So pictures and videos. So someone asked me, how much do you think these guys? I was like, man, these guys are easily leaving with minimum 5K profit home. No, 7 actually home, take home. Because if you bring in those people, you have to take care of them, housing and transport. Because he's not just coming to Toronto and being, oh, I have to pay for Uber. No. You want my services? I need to be taken care of. So everything from housing, food, transportation.
You can easily spend 40,000 right now.
More than that.
More.
Fucking hell.
More.
I've heard of weddings that go up to $500,000.
Yeah.
Easy.
Weddings? Mad.
Easy.
Mad.
How much would this marriage last? Is my main question. If I'm spending this much, yo, man, this marriage gotta last long. We're not.
Because that's the thing. There's different ways. Because now I'm thinking of it. It has to be like you can bring down money if you're like person from the same country. If I go back to Botswana, like everything is times 9. So now it's cheaper. Now you can bear there, right? You can ball out there. But then there's gonna be people who are here. I wasn't invited to your wedding. But now I've realized that, listen, if you're not invited, you're not invited.
So if I'm spending this much, what am I getting as the man, man?
What do you think? You get a wife.
Like, where's the win for me? Like, because even on that day, it's not really my day because it's almost like everybody's focused on
Everybody
her.
else's day.
It's just her day. Kind of like I'm not really enjoying it.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah.
See, that's why I have a problem with that.
I absolutely have a problem.
That's a very abusive statement in my eyes, because everybody should be in control of their own happiness. But
Absolutely.
I kind of get where you're coming from. But everybody should be happy. Should be in control of their own happiness. The fact that I'm not here doesn't mean you should be moping. Like your life's not gonna fall apart. You should like get it together. Yeah, full adult. But besides that, I've realized the best way to go with it is destination wedding.
Decision.
Yes. So if you say we're gonna go get married in, give me a country, nice country,
Paris.
Oof.
Greece.
Hawaii. Let's say Hawaii. Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
Hawaii, if you say destination wedding, you give everybody their invitation. We're doing it in Hawaii. He can't come to you now and tell you why is it in Hawaii, because now he's sounding broke.
Okay, now I get it.
Yeah, now we're bringing down costs.
Oh yeah, because some people are not gonna make it because
it's
you're
too,
broke.
it's
You
too
can't
far.
afford. You can't afford
If you can't make it, you can't make it.
No hard
Sorry,
feelings.
no hard feelings. You can't afford the ticket. That's on you. You're not paying for hotel. You're like, listen, we're going to experience love in Hawaii. If they can't make it, they can't make it. You can probably get group deals on hotels.
Oh yeah.
Right? You don't have to pay. You're bringing down costs for location.
Because you can do it on the beach.
You can do it on the beach. There you
It's
go.
cheaper.
It's cheaper on the
Smart,
beach.
smart.
It's more romantic. Now you have more. You see, now you have more money for the ring. It's more romantic. You have more money for the. You see, because now you're doing a balancing act. Because for me, it's either big wedding, mid ring, and we're barely paying a down payment for a house, or you get a mid wedding, an amazing ring, and we can buy a house, or we just
Elope.
Amazing honeymoon.
Oh,
big ring.
Because 60,000 on honeymoon, spend 6,000 on honeymoon. That's
mad.
You'll never forget about that.
No,
Big ring, and now we can shop around for any house we want because we have money for the down payment. Now we can live happily ever after.
I remember one of my buddies, one of my friends that I knew, he got married, right? He went back to India. He spent about 50,000 on his wedding. He just saw how much he spent. The marriage lasted for 1 month. They got divorced. I was like, man, if you just spent the money on hookers
It's a lot of
every
hookers.
week, you could last. It will last you a long.
It'll last you a long time.
It will last you a long time if
I
you
think,
spend that money.
You can't buy love though.
You can't.
1 month.
Wow, damn, that's
1 month marriage, like that was probably a one. That's you paid 63,000 for a one night stand.
Hey, man.
You could buy,
For 1 month.
you could buy love. Come on, for 50,000, you could buy love.
You can buy love.
You could buy love. I'm telling you, for 1 month or 2 months.
Don't they do that in there's those small villages in like Ukraine and Russia where like because of World War II, there's not a lot of men, but there's a lot of women, and now they've funneled it. I'm gonna get crazy here, but it makes sense. I'm gonna funnel. So they funneled unattractiveness out of it. So now the men who stayed picked certain type of caliber of looking women. So now that's like the gene pool now. So now there's a lot of women in this area, a lot of people who are in European standards very attractive. See, I didn't say say European standards that are very attractive. So now this whole male order brides, that's how it came about. Because you go to these little villages where the women are beautiful, some of them come out of there, they become supermodels and all those things, but there's no future staying in those places. So what do? Sometimes they just put themselves out there. I'm willing to be a wife or an American, someone British, somewhere in the West.
For that green card.
Yeah, basically, right? And it's become a business now.
It's a trade-off. Yeah,
It's a trade-off
yeah,
thing,
yeah.
like, right? Like now people are like grooming their daughters and be like, yo, you need to like, once you hit 18, we need to secure that bag with that that lonely American, that lonely Canadian to get there. So some people can buy love, but do the people love them? Not necessarily.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so
That's
that's
quite the world we're living
I
in
know
now.
it's mad. It's mad. I just say just find someone who brings you peace, man.
So what's your conclusion on marriage after that weekend?
It's up in the air. I want to get married. It has to be the right person that I'm gonna break bread like that. But am I gonna break bread like that? That's a big question mark.
Yeah. If I was a Muslim, I don't think I'd have gotten married, but I would get married because I'm Muslim. So it's
Not because you want
it's
to,
sunnah
but
at this
because
point. I gotta.
right.
It's an obligation at this point. I gotta.
But the fact
Yeah, I
how happy I saw my boy,
Yeah.
like I've never seen him like that. Never. I've never seen him. I saw him the other day. My guy is relaxed. He's a very uptight guy, but he was so relaxed. He's laughing. He's chippy. I'm like, this is a new man. I don't know if it's because of her or it's because of the pressure that's off his shoulders, but there's something about it. But all in all, it's a beautiful thing. I can't lie. It's a beautiful thing.
Love is beautiful, man.
It's beautiful, man.
Love is beautiful. It's just that not everyone finds it.
Listen, it ain't gonna be me.
That doesn't find it.
I'm gonna find it.
You're hunting.
I'm going to find it.
You're hunting.
Hey,
You're hunting.
Hey, man.
You're
it's not-
seeking love. What you seek is seeking you.
Hey, man. Who says I don't have it already?
Weddings can get expensive, man.
It's
I mean,
too
when you're
expensive.
talking about $50,000, you know, that's a whole film.
Yeah.
It's a film. He's talking about budgeting and project management. I'm
Yeah,
sitting there,
man.
I'm like, okay, DP could cost you 10.
Yeah.
You know?
You could produce a well film. And your return on investment is mad. Because you could put that film out and then actually put it out for people to buy and you get more money back. Like the ROI is, that's what I say, what's the benefit for me if I do embark on this?
ROI?
Because if this goes bad, I'm still suffering.
And what if that's the marriage? What if you and your bride to be like, you know what? Instead of having a wedding, let's produce a film.
That sounds good, man.
And she's like, you know what?
Someone's thinking, let's invest this money.
She ain't having that. She ain't having that.
I don't know, man. I mean, it's up in the air. It depends on
She
who
went
it
through
is.
all this life, this suffering for her to not get that Disney wedding? Crazy, man.
I think it's deeper than that. I think they want more. It depends who you're talking to, though.
That depends. True.
Depends, right? Some people, they want the Disney.
They want to feel like princesses. Hey, man. Maybe the. Sorry. I'm just advocating for men to treat women right, but I guess no. You see what the society has done to us? But yeah.
We're trying.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of marriages, let's talk about podcasts.
That's a nice thing to deflect.
You know, in Oxymoron. You guys, how long have you guys been doing Oxymoron now?
5 years?
Yeah, 5 years now.
Around there. Yeah.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, the first time we started was when we went to the
Public library.
public library to start a
Downtown?
podcast. Yeah, downtown.
Well,
Yeah,
we did the
you-
same thing.
That was the first place that everybody, I think everybody started if you were serious about it, though.
Yeah, we went there. We did U of A for a bit, like the
Oh, okay.
student. What was that place called?
That's good. That's actually good.
No, it was terrible.
It was terrible?
It was awful.
Oh, yeah.
It was
Both.
really bad.
Both, even the.
Yeah, the one at the library was bad, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Equipment.
equipment was like, it was for music.
Outdated,
It was
yeah.
outdated and like it wasn't really a podcasting place. And like the amount of crackheads that were outside there.
Oh
man,
my
it
god,
was
it's really bad.
raw, man.
Now it's
Like,
shut down.
now it's shut down.
Shut down?
They made a new. It's a
Made
new
a new
library.
library. Yeah.
Oh, that
Right
big one
across
by.
the
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah, they closed
yeah,
it
right
down.
by City Hall, I think.
Oh, yeah, that new one.
So then, so you guys have gone through the very similar journey then.
Similar journey, yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
it's a lot of trial and error,
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
figuring out. Yeah.
A lot.
and
Now-
then. Oh, go ahead. What were you gonna
There's
say?
a lot of people are starting to get into it now. Like it's becoming a thing now. Like people want to do it, and I think a lot of more even businesses are like trying to finding this is actually a better way to actually show expertise in terms of like marketing and all of that stuff. So it's like one of the because it's like we're run the studio now, and so basically it's a studio where people can come in and record the studio. So just like this is basically turnkey. So you just come in, sit down, we handle everything, and you just record, and then
That's what you
have
guys
a
are
little
doing
bit- That's
now
what we're
at
doing
Media
right now,
21,
yeah, to open it to other people. And it's like at the time when we started, if we had this opportunity, man, it would have been perfect. Imagine you go to a place where you have the state of the art camera, you got perfectly down mic the way this is, and it's just like, yo, come in, use this
Come
place, just
through,
pay
use it,
whatever, use it. Like that just takes you from worrying about the small stuff and just worry about the whole content and the branding, and then you focus on all that thing about getting to the audience, getting more views, and get all that stuff, and then that just it can help you grow faster significantly.
Let me ask you guys this: what did podcasting do for you guys?
Oh, big. I think it helped me better at articulating thoughts and like better at communicating better. Like, you know, and that's one of the biggest thing. Communicating an idea better. Because initially when we started, I could never finish a sentence. I could never finish a complete sentence. It's like initially when we first started, I thought it was a problem for me. So it's like I would start a sentence and I was assumed that you know what I was trying to say. Like, you know, like, you're talking bit. I don't know if people, you know, someone trying to say
Bits and
talking
pieces.
bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's
You can never have
flows,
a cohesive flow of
A cohesive
chain
idea.
of thought. Yeah, and it could be probably because of the way I learned in school, or I didn't learn enough in school. You learn enough, and then that was something that I liked. And then now it's like, at least I'm significantly better from when I started, where I can actually articulate, you know, a thought, communicate a thought or emotion or a feeling about a particular subject.
Is the mic stand too high for you?
It could be.
You adjust it a bit. Don't be shy, man. Get comfortable.
Yeah, he pushed me into it.
Did he?
Yeah.
He pushed you out of your comfort zone?
No, he pushed me into doing the podcast, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
pushed me into getting out my comfort zone.
There you go.
Because I wasn't, as you guys see, I'm not a big talker, but when I talk,
Some wisdom.
I
Use some
try
wisdom,
sometimes. She might disagree sometimes, but I try. But yeah, it was him. He's the one who pushed me because I think it was Campus Vibes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So I'd always give him like ideas in the background. He's like, "You need to come on." And at the time, I had a girl. I was like, "I don't want trouble, man. I don't want."
So we used to have this argument all the time. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
argument we used to do on the when it was in university. When we were with McKeown, we used to just set up a camera like this and just have it just go back and forth. It would be like something as silly as like talking about relationships and stuff like that. We just used to have fun with it. And like the whole school would then come back and be like, "Yo, you said this. I don't think you said this."
And I don't like that attention. I don't like that attention.
Oh, yeah, nah,
So I'll just give him all the ideas. I'm like, "Yeah, just do this next episode. Do this, do this, do this." And he's like, "No, we should start one." I'm just like, "Nah." Yeah.
And I think it's one of the best things that's ever happened to us as we started this, man. Because it's like it turned into now where it's like it's a way of even meeting new clients. Like you know, if you take the time to like if you invite a business owner or something like that to come chill with the podcast, like oh sure, I get something out of value from being on your podcast. And then now we can then pitch our idea. We can talk about business. We can talk about something that, you know, something we can do down the line. And it's easier to communicate and ask questions about, okay, all right, how's your business? What challenges are you facing? What's your pain points? And then what's your problems are you facing? Then we can then provide a solution to whatever it is. And because the thing is though, most of the guys know they don't like doing sales calls, like just random calling up a business. They say
That's
oh,
the worst. Cold calling.
Cold calling. Yeah. So they don't like that. But this way is like a nice way to get your foot in, and then we can talk and then see if we're a good fit. And then we now qualify each other. If we're a good fit, then we can do that. So that's one way you can make something out of podcasting.
So you guys kind of use it as a funnel.
As a yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
It's a tactic. Yeah. It's a tactic for business. Yeah.
And how did it help you? How did podcasting help you? You told me how it helped him.
Articulating, man. And also getting out of my comfort zone. Because I can get very introverted at times, and sometimes I just don't want to interact with people. But then at times I'm just like, you know, he brings it out of me. I'm like, okay, yeah, you got 2 hours. We're on the clock now. Let's do it. So yeah, it's been something where I can articulate myself a little bit better. More people skills. It's helped a lot with that. When I actually speak, I can actually construct proper sentences and communicate better. So yeah, it's helped with that. And then also it's because I do podcasts, now I listen to other podcasts and like now I seek more knowledge from like other people and say, oh, like I didn't think of things that way. I didn't know people thought that way. So it molds an idea of the world of how it is right now for me. So yeah, it helps. It helps a lot.
You guys got a head start because now I think there's over 1 million podcasts out there.
Oh yeah, 1 million.
Which is crazy to think about. There's 1 million people doing exactly what we're doing right now.
I think they should do more.
You think there should be more?
I think there should be more. Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because it's like there's a crave for conversation. There's a reason why like you haven't watched CBC for a long time. But guess what? I would sit down and listen to like a whole 3 hours podcast.
Yeah,
like I'll listen to Joe Rogan nonstop. Like, you know, I can listen to like the Brilliant Idiots nonstop. It's like there's a crave for conversations. That's a new thing that everybody's into now. So with the TV, it's a lot of short, quick bite hits. That's all they focus on. And then now it's like that's not working for us. So you can't get us to listen to that. It's just not. It's not going to work.
It's not the same anymore.
Yeah, there's a reason why there's the numbers are just going down for TV. But in terms of this other side of the world, people just enjoy real, authentic conversation. I just want to listen to what you guys talk about. I just want to learn something from what you guys are saying. I want to pick up certain things. Like, take for example, I listen to The Future. It's a YouTube channel where they talk about like everything regarding freelancing, running an agency, running a media agency. It's phenomenal.
What's it called? The Future?
The Future, yeah, Future.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think it is.
that's what it's called. Like it's everything about freelancing, the business aspect of it, the business aspect of running an agency, how to scale up. It's everything around business regarding the creative space. So like that could be 3 hours. They will just bring in somebody who is an expert in whatever the field they're in, and they just talk regular conversation. I just listen to them, and by the time I see what some people's struggles are, when you listen to somebody who started an agency and realize, oh, they talk about a point in time where they had no cash flow for the company. What did they do? Like, you know what I mean? How do you navigate through that? It's just a genuine conversation. Oh yeah, when I started my company, there was a time where we had no cash flow and I didn't have to pay my employees. And when we went through that, there was a period where we went through that where we overspent and kept on thinking there's always going to keep on being more money coming in, and then you soon to realize in business, like, well, there's going to be those down periods. You're going to have those droughts, and how do you navigate that to is something that you have there's no template, or like nobody knows.
There's no guide.
There's no guide to like how to.
There's no professor.
There's no professor to teach you. Okay, I do this, raise the part to this, and then you get the answer to that. But there's nobody there. You have to figure it out yourself. So like with podcasting, I listen to that kind of podcast. They talk. When I see people talk about their own things and how they navigated that, that's knowledge for me. And I go home like, okay, all right, we're going through similar things, and that's kind of like one of the benefits of it. So, and also like they can also use this to sell stuff. So if I get some bits of knowledge from you and he's selling something, I'll go buy it because he recommended it. I've listened to you for 3 hours. It's easy to sell me stuff. So with this, if you want to go into like the route of like either selling, this is another route you can use to sell either your book or your product to people, because if they're engaged for 2 hours, if you have people with attention for 2 hours, man, like they feel like you're one of their best buddies. And if a best buddy recommends a movie to you, you probably would watch it than a random person watching it to you. So like, and that's a new form of marketing now.
It's working. I mean, you look at the power of the dollar. It used to be all the money used to go into advertising on television.
Yeah.
And television is still the biggest form of advertising.
Yeah.
Right. But now we're starting to see a shift. Like you're starting to see. You mentioned CBC. CBC starting to do podcasts.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're seeing that shift, right? They're seeing that people are going from TV to podcasts, right? A lot of NPR is one of those companies. Spotify is why does Spotify give Joe Rogan $100 million?
A heavy investment in it,
right? They're investing into that space, right? So I think it's interesting that how you guys look at podcasting and what you guys got from it and how you guys started. I think it's interesting, and I'm curious to know. Do you guys see yourself doing it forever?
Oh yeah, I see myself doing it for a long time. I truly genuinely enjoy it. And it's the thing of like, with podcasting, you don't need a large audience. You just need a core strong audience, and that's
a cult following.
And even so you have that, you can do whatever you want. Like it's like, for example, the Oxymoron podcast, we have that. We have the Oxymoron family is just cult following. So that's why when you do a live event, we got 75 to 80 people showing up to the live event. And if we started a merch, they all would go buy the merch. If we started an event tomorrow, they all are coming to there. So yeah, so it's like you get that cult following, people that just fuck with you, and man, they really do. You can do whatever you want with that cult following. It's not good because you've given them so much value. They just find to see how can I pay you back in it, and that's how it is. And most of the podcasts I listen to, it's the same feeling. Yeah, and that's one of the benefits of it.
How'd you just come up with the name?
I think, was it?
Oh shit.
Oxymoron. Yeah, it was just whatever we say can be an oxymoron. It can be taken in any different way you want. So one person, she can take it one way, you can take it one way, he can take it one. It's all an oxymoron. So we can always fall back and just say, yeah, it's an oxymoron.
It's like starting smart, idiotic sentences. Like,
if you think it's smart, yeah, it's smart. If it's stupid, hey,
yeah,
stupid. Either way, it's an oxymoron.
Either way, it's an oxymoron.
I think that's how we came up with it.
How about you?
Andre came up with the Gifted Gab.
Yeah.
How did we come up? We used to just have these heated debates and conversations at Cactus Club.
Oh, okay.
Every Friday we were there, and it was just me and him. We would go there and we'd have these 2 hour long conversations. And one day, I don't remember what we were debating about. I was like, you know what? We should start a podcast. You know that typical tweet where people are like, "Oh, men don't go to therapy." They're like,
a podcast.
That was us. That was literally us.
And it makes sense though. It's like the same women's version of that is like OnlyFans, and then forget. Women's version of that is OnlyFans, because think about it. It's easy. It's like okay, I look good, and I can make money off looking good. When I just started OnlyFans. Well, that's as a guy, you're smart. You can have good conversations.
And that was the thing. At first, we're like, okay, we can have conversations. People would listen to us, you know. And then, our first 5 episodes were audio, or 8 episodes, something like that. And Andre comes to me one day. He's like, listen, we're too good looking to not be on camera. we gotta film this.
I love that.
And I'm like, you know what? I think you're right.
Yeah.
And then you look at the stats. the numbers don't lie.
Exactly.
I think 70% of our listeners are female.
Oh,
So Andre was onto something that day.
He was onto something.
He was onto something. He was onto something.
I love it. I love
Don't
it.
monetize on your looks, right?
You know what I'm saying?
Come on,
so for us, it was just personally, I could say like I was working in the modeling industry. I've been working in it for like 7 or 8 years now.
Oh, nice.
Very shallow industry. They just pick you based on what you look like.
Yeah.
Simple as that, right?
Yeah.
So for me, I felt like there was a void.
Mm-hmm.
Like that left a void in me. It's like I was making money, but I wasn't being respected for what I thought or how I seen things or a voice. So I was searching for a way to like put myself out there in a new way because I'm already out there. My image is already out there. My likeness is already out there.
Yeah.
But it's not out there on my terms.
Okay.
Right? So for me, it was like, okay, I'm searching for some way to thought leadership and things of that nature. So the podcast kind of lined up with that. And then at the time when we started the podcast, I had just picked up a talent agent for acting, right? And then so now I'm learning what goes into a production too, right? From an acting standpoint, right? You show up on set, you're seeing all the gear, you're seeing all the work getting put into a production.
Yeah.
So now that led to me kind of saying, okay, well, we started with the Gifted Gab, which is like conversation and storytelling, but then we slowly started venturing off into production, right? For Andre, he went into acting, so now he does acting.
That's good.
As he said, Amber, he's doing an acting program. Shout out to him. And for me, I'm like, let me get into directing and filmmaking. So now we've got this partnership that started with the podcast, media, right? It's all the same, right? It's media. But what I was saying earlier about that school, like this is the school. Now we're going and learning what goes into filmmaking, what goes into storytelling, what goes into, putting a camera on and putting stories out there, right? But we're learning it from 2 different avenues, right? And you think about some of the best directors or the best actors, they have a director and actor paired with them that helps bring the best out of them. When you think about Robert De Niro, some of his best films are with Martin Scorsese, right? You think about Denzel Washington, some of his best films are with Spike Lee, right? So you think about, Quentin Tarantino, Samuel L. Jackson, Leonardo DiCaprio. Like there's guys that when you think about an actor, there's a director with them,
Yeah.
So that's kind of our approach. It's like, okay, let's keep chipping away. Let's learn. Let's create short pieces, right? And then learn the game, and then
Do that expertise.
use that embody the expertise, because the things that we're doing here, what people don't realize, you can do this stuff till you're 60.
That's true.
You can do a podcast till you're 60.
Yeah.
You can do filmmaking till you're 60. There's no like window to that. There's
True.
no you're not like, it's not hard labor.
Yeah.
It's not like you have to sit in the office the rest of your life. No.
True.
You can literally take this work and let it take you different places, right? You guys might have to go and produce something in Africa.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So it's a vehicle not only to make a living, it's also a vehicle to building relationships, building businesses, seeing the world.
Yeah.
Right? So that's kind of how we saw it. It's like, we're willing to do the podcast for free, right? With no monetary gain, because we can. Because it'll lead to other experiences. It'll lead to new avenues. It'll lead to, maybe this podcast will lead to him getting a role in this, or lead us to producing something for TELUS or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we're like, there's no way you can stop. You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Because you never know where it's going to take you.
I was going to ask, like, in terms of, like, because you seem like you've kind of, like, found the path. Like, for example, for a lot of younger men who were at, like, the point where before we found or before you found this, like, what would be your advice to them? Like, because I feel like they want to find something that they're passionate and, like, interested in. What would you advise them to do?
My advice has always been, like, try everything.
Okay.
Like, do everything, right? Because you don't know what you like until you do it, right? For me, producing this first film, I've learned that I don't want to produce. I've learned that anything that has to do with the budgets and the organizing and the project management shit, I don't want anything to do with any of that shit. I just want to focus on the story and directing. Right?
Okay.
So I want to focus on that. But I had to
go
and produce my first film
to realize,
to learn that, right? So you're only gonna figure that out by doing it, right? You're not gonna know. Like a lot of people hit me up and say, "Yo, how do I model?" I'm like, "All right, man, just go and model. Just do it. Just go take pictures with a friend, and then go to an agent, and they'll walk you through the process and see if you like it.
Okay.
And if you like it, you'll keep doing it. Okay. And what I find that most of those guys don't end up doing it because they realize that they don't like it, right? Or it's not even that they're not good at it, but they can't follow through with it. Okay. And if you're not willing to follow through with it, then that means you don't like it that much.
Wait, side note, big bank or no?
I pay my bills, man. I keep the bills paid. I keep the lights on. I've been doing it long enough that I can bank on it. You know what I mean? And I'm just grateful for that. Sometimes I'm looking at guys. I'm like, this guy should be making more money than I do in this. But they don't because they just haven't done it long enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you were saying that thing about being an expert, I think I'm an expert in modeling.
Okay.
Because I just show up and look pretty. But there's so much that went into that
before
that, right?
Okay, handsome.
But I'm trying to make it work for me in other ways, just because that's why we started the podcast, right?
Oh, nice.
But that's what the Gifted Gab was like. Yo, we're just gonna try this out and see if we like it.
Yeah.
Right. Same thing you guys did. You guys tried it out. You guys liked it, and you guys stuck with it, right? And you'll find that people can search and search and search and come up with new ideas, but until they actually go out and execute it and figure out, okay, well, did I actually enjoy that process? Was that stressful? Is that the kind of stress that I would welcome? Until you figure out if, a lot of people say they want to play basketball until they have to wake up 5 days in a row at 6 a.m. and go train.
And then you realize,
no, I don't want it that bad.
Yep.
Like I used to train with this one kid who said I wanted to play Division 1. I said, all right, man, like you could try, like come here at 6 a.m. every day, see if you really want to. That's what it takes, right? But everybody dreads the execution.
Yeah, the work it takes.
Yeah, they love the idea. The idea is phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
Think about over the pandemic, how many people popped up and they're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna start a business."
Oh man, business is hard, man. Like,
Too many. Let me start a podcast. I'm at home. 1 episode done.
I see it a lot. I go, so sometimes when I'm bored, I go and I look at those pages that I followed of people that started. When's the last post? July 2020.
Wow.
All right. Well, I guess the podcast is going great. You know what I mean? And it's like everybody is always so excited at the beginning. The honeymoon phase.
That's the best part.
Yeah, it's ecstatic. Everything's like, it's going great.
It's good.
We're only at episode 3. Talk to me when we get to episode 7. Talk to me when we get to episode 19.
Oh yeah.
Talk to me when you're at episode 32.
That's how I mostly judge podcasts. Right? It's like, how long have you been doing this for?
Yeah.
And can you do it for a long time?
Yeah.
Because there's a bunch of repetition that you never really see the result from. Yeah.
How was your first? Let me ask you this, because me and Andre had a nightmare with this stuff.
Okay.
What were your first 5 episodes like? The process.
What process?
Yeah, of like recording and editing and then putting it out. What was that process like for you guys?
We didn't even edit.
We didn't edit.
You didn't edit?
What's editing?
What's that? Edit.
First 5. I was so excited. We said fling all of them on there.
Put that shit on there. Like, that's
no
it.
intro, nothing.
Nothing raw.
Just raw.
Then
Just put it on there.
you made an intro.
Then I found an intro that I started editing. It was after we kept on going, we started getting better and better and better. Because it was like, it took a long time to get it to even where it is right now. But it's a thing of like, we've never really, I don't think we're those people that, or maybe it's a flaw, but we're never really the perfectionist type kind of people. Like, we don't really wait for it to be perfect to put it out there.
No, you can't. It's a flaw. It is. It's a flaw. Like, when you're a perfectionist, it's a flaw.
Yeah. So like, we go into, if we just go in, this is the best we could do right now. Put it out there.
And sometimes I wonder, do people know the difference when he's editing and when I'm editing with the audio? Because we can tell there's subtle differences when we edit.
Yeah.
Just off the side.
You guys still edit your own audio and stuff?
Yeah, we still edit our own audio.
Really? Oh, yeah, because you guys are a production company.
Yeah, we edit our own. We edit the whole thing, the 100% the whole thing.
Yeah.
So like, and we just realized, even when we didn't have a space, like we used to do off the kitchen. I was off my kitchen counter.
Yeah,
We just do it. Like, we just do
space.
video, throw up a camera there,
and then we just do it.
shit ass quality. You just put it out there, just don't give a fuck. It is what it is. Yeah. And then as time goes on, we just realize, okay, all right, we're just gonna continue to learn to get better and better and better. I think that's the only thing we have. We have to think of like, okay, all right, it's shit now, but we're gonna learn to next time when we do it out, it would be slightly better than the shit that we put in last week.
And that's where he comes in. Where he's like, we need to get better. We need to do this. We need to get better. We need to do this.
Get this, and then that's it. And then that's how we have the balance thing.
That's amazing.
And same thing with the live events, because I feel like if we had the personality of like waiting for it to be perfect, you would never actually do the live event.
Yeah.
We're like, fuck it, we're just gonna do it. It's not perfect, but we're gonna do it either way. And that's how we did live event. We figured, oh wow, it could actually work. Now we do a second one. Let's do it slightly better than the first time we did. Let's do it again. And then
just do reps.
Yeah, just like, why not? Yeah, why not? It's not been done in Edmonton because I don't think there's a lot of live podcasts in Edmonton at all.
No, there's none.
Yeah, because most people would wait for it to be okay. Can it be? It has to be. Nah, I just just fucking do it, man. Figure it out as you go.
So then, okay, so everything you guys are doing is in house.
All in house.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much all in house.
Media 21. Shout out Media 21.
21 seconds, 21 minutes, 21 days, 21 months, 21 years. Doesn't matter. We'll get it done.
You want to tell us how you guys came up with the name? Because I know the story. But
Media 21 came from Mubarak. He was the one who came up with the idea. I hate coming up with names. It's one of the biggest things that with names, I just hate it. Because it doesn't fucking matter to me. It doesn't matter. I'm just like, just pick anything and just build something around it. You'll be all right.
I'm big on branding.
Really?
I'm so big on like how something is perceived.
I think Apple is stupid. Like I would like you name a company Apple, it's a stupid name. The logo looks stupid. It's everything about it is stupid.
If
it's
I'm not
nothing.
wrong, I found out that Macintosh is an actual like type of Apple.
Yeah, it is a Macintosh Apple. I didn't even take that in.
Yeah, wow. Like someone was saying it at work, and I was like, wait. It's an actual type of.
Is it actually type of Apple?
Yeah,
I'm just finding this out.
Branding to the core. I said, yeah,
it's good branding.
Yeah,
Strong branding.
Amazing.
But I'm saying like if Apple is Apple and just put it on the table, I'll say that's a stupid name. I would name my company Apple. It just sounds stupid. Like it's not creative at all. It's nothing. Like I'm just put orange.
Macintosh.
Like,
they actually
or
have
mango.
problem.
Like it just sounds.
Funny enough, there is a company called Orange.
Is it?
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
It's
Fair
a
enough.
cellular
They
company.
actually got sued.
Maybe
They were-
banana.
they were,
Is there banana? Is there banana? Because I also just pick banana there as the name, and then
I know Apple when they first started out, they got sued
Yeah.
by the Beatles because the Beatles company was called Apple Corp, and they sued Apple
okay.
in the beginning stages. And I don't know, it's like big beef for like 30 years that they went. But yeah, I mean that is a terrible name if you think about it.
If you just objective, just stand out and just look at it, and just think it's terrible. So that's why I've always had the perspective like it doesn't matter what the name is, just pick anything and build a brand around it. The other brand and stuff is what you're saying that matters. Everything around it.
The branding is
and what's the
important,
personality? What's your tone? What's your messaging? What's your everything about the brand? I think that's what really matters. What's your logo look like? What is
Philosophy,
Yeah, what's the philosophy? What's those things? If you build those things are really good around it, then it's good. Then that's how Mubarak came up with the name. Because I told him, just give me anything. And he used to listen to 21 Savage at the time.
21.
He listened to 21 Savage all the time. And then he named the company. So, let's just call it Media 21. And that's I was like, you know what? I'm not going to argue with you. Let's just fucking do it.
21 Savage would probably be proud.
And the funny, and the ironic thing is, when we actually became official was in the year 2021.
That's when you guys registered it.
Yeah, like an official business. So yeah, it's meant to be.
21 Media 21 in 2021.
There you go. That's how
Yeah, you were onto something. That boy
that's
Beric's onto something. That's awesome, man. I think it's time we do a Oxymoron Gifted Gab live event.
Let's do it, man. Because I think people need it. Like people want it.
Hey man, I'm the can man. Give me all the ideas, I'll make it happen.
The Can Man?
Yeah, can man. African, I can do it.
Bars.
That boy got the Gifted Gab. Man, appreciate you guys, man.
thank you,
Oxymoron
man.
Podcast, Media 21 Productions. You guys are doing great work.
Appreciate you. Thank you, man.
you.
You're doing
Doing
amazing,
an amazing
man.
job,
You're
too.
doing amazing stuff.
Stop, guys.
Yeah,
This is about you guys right now. This is about you guys, man. No, I appreciate you guys coming out.
Appreciate you.
You guys know where to find them.
Yeah.
Oxymoron Podcast, Media 21 Productions. Anything else you guys are working on before we let you guys go that you want the world to know about?
Possible live dates soon.
Yeah, but
In the works.
Yeah, definitely doing that live event.
Another live event.
Another live event.
Battle League.
Oh, yeah.
Battle
Finals.
League. Yeah, tomorrow we have playoffs. Semis. So the semis, we're in the playoff periods. We have the semis, and then next week is the final. So we have something.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be music. There's
Something
gonna
in
be
store.
food. There's
Yeah.
gonna be like it's.
I won't
gonna
be there for
something.
finals.
Yeah, no, come
I
on,
gotta
finals,
pop
bro.
out. Have
I have the bar too as well, bro. It's gonna be going all out.
That's just a Battle League, Media 21, Oxymoron. These guys are busy, man. They're busy. All right, price is going up.
Oh, price is going up always.
Yesterday's price.
It's not today's price.
There we go.
And just like that, we gone.
Oh man, I just can't believe it.